Although not ice cream, the bubble tea at my condo, which reduced its hours and you have to wait outside for your bubble tea, have at least 5 or 6 people waiting for their bubble teas throughout the open hours. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I know that not everything is open, but a lot of stuff is, and I get the sense that a lot of people are like basically just living their lives as is with like no real adjustments. I do appreciate that our local governments, at least in this area, have made masks mandatory in public spaces, and we see a lot more masks than we did before. But yeah, I would still figure that a lot of people are still buying ice cream. Most of the time when we order ice cream, we're getting it at McDonald's at this point. We get I enjoy that North American McFlurry, machine spun. And what else? We've gone to Dairy Queen a total of 1 time, and it was a rainy day, and there still was like a small lineup, but they have it like really locked down at Dairy Queen. There's pretty much like 2 customers max at a time, and they've got assorted dividers, and they don't even open the door for new people until someone else is left. They were probably the most, and they also like spray your hands with hand sanitizer before you can even go in. So kudos to Dairy Queen for locking things down. I appreciate that. I've lined up on the DQ drive-through for their coffee crisp blizzard. 9 cars in front. That's a lot. That's a lot. So Stev and I do McDonald's like once a week. Just like, here's the one night where, well, one of the nights where we just want McDonald's, and it's an easy quick thing, and you can do drive-through, and the drive-throughs are pretty prolific around the area. Actually, it was lunchtime. And I was like, okay, let me get us to McDonald's. And the drive-through line was up and around and all the way out of the parking lot. I've never seen that before at a McDonald's, where the demand was that crazy. And I was just like, well, I guess we're not doing McDonald's today. And then I went to another one, and it was also crazy. So we ended up just going to Harvey's instead. I know Harvey's is like a Canadian only thing. The big difference between like a Harvey's and a McDonald's is they actually have like real meat, and they throw it on like a fire grill instead of steaming it or whatever McDonald's does. It's pretty good. One of the better fast food establishments here in Canada, if you're ever up here. I do like the Harvey's poutine though. It's pretty solid. Yeah, what is that like? I'm gonna miss the buffets, man. I know we talk about it a bunch. The buffets are not coming back anytime soon, if ever. And I've been seeing articles and stuff about, like, I think it was Fauci that said either yesterday or today that this thing's gonna be with us like forever, probably. We're never gonna fully eradicate it. People are still gonna get sick from it. I think it's just a matter of working as hard, the scientists and stuff working as hard as they can on a vaccine, and us right now doing our best to social distance, wear a mask, and then once the vaccine's ready, take the vaccine. But there's a lot of things in the way. It requires a team effort and everyone to partake and socially distance and wear masks and take the vaccine when the time comes. And it seems like certain people in regions are more welcoming of that plan than others. Tucker's Marketplace now dead. Mandarin still has takeout. See, I haven't done Mandarin. We've done their local Chinese food establishments we've done. Mandarin's gonna be weird. I guess, yeah, takeout's not the worst outcome for them, but like the problem with Mandarin is that, so for our non-Canadian friends, Mandarin is this chain of Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet. And these are like big establishments, like hundreds of people would go and eat at the Mandarin. And I just feel like with the amount that they would have to pay for like rent or property tax, that they would get hit real bad. And yes, you can do takeout. I don't think they're gonna be making enough on takeout because, like, one, you don't really think about Mandarin as takeout, and two, I don't know if you would do Mandarin takeout. I would rather do like, yeah, there's a lot of other establishments in the Chinese food space, particularly like independent, that are really good and probably cheaper than Mandarin too. Mandarin will be the last place I ever go back to. You worked at Harvey's back in the day. It's all right. Yep, I remember that. And yeah, thinking about it, Mandarin, and it didn't occur to me that Mandarin is a Canadian only thing. Yeah. They don't have that in other parts of the world. I just looked it up and it's actually an Ontario only thing. Yeah, there it is. The appeal of Mandarin is totally eating yourself half to death in a big group. Yes. That's it. And it's not going to happen anymore. We live... Oh, it's not actually good. Yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best Chinese food that you can get. And I feel like, yeah, with Chinese food in particular, like there are so many good Chinese restaurants around that you don't think about like, yeah, I'm gonna do the Mandarin for takeout, because you would just order from the other spot that's probably cheaper and better that you would go to for like that particular need. Yeah, the buffets, the dim sums, those are gonna be gone. The Uncle Bob's, which is owned by Mandarin, and they serve more like Western, like Canadian food, like your mashed potatoes and pastas and stuff. They're probably not coming back anytime soon, if ever. I've heard the story where Mandarin's food come from. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that on stream. I don't want to be spreading that type of stuff, whether it is true or not. Yeah, what was the... I guess on the bright side, I've barbecued more, and barbecuing's great. I made like a filet mignon over the weekends. That normally we just like eat like chicken in the house because Steph doesn't eat beef or pork. So in the interest of time, we just make stuff that both of us eat. But on this glorious Sunday, it was Monday. It was Monday because it rained on Sunday. We made shrimp for Steph. I'm allergic to shrimp. And then for me, we bought filet mignons at the store and I cooked that, and it was great. It was pretty rare though, I will admit. I think it's a steak like that thick. It was like a medallion like this, and it was super thick, so it wasn't gonna get cooked all the way through anyway. I think I should have threw it in the oven for a little bit. I mean, it wasn't like bleeding or anything. It was pretty red on the inside. It was also delicious though. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, making food at the house has been good in light of all the things happening right now. And I have actually, there is another thing Chinese food related. I learned how to make fried rice. Yeah, I realized I've been making like assorted stir fries and stuff forever, but the whole process of like, how do you make the rice brown was the big mystery to me. And really, it's not that hard. You just throw soy sauce on it, and yes, you can also like fry an egg in there too. And that was like the two missing things. Nothing wrong with delicious. Yeah. Man, what else food-wise? I miss Filipino food. I think that's a big one. I haven't had any of my mom's cooking. My mom is like very well known for her Filipino food in general. She's amazing. And I have not had any of her food since this whole thing started. And that bums me out really bad. I haven't had any of Steph's mom's food cooking either, and she makes great stuff as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how long before. I know in Ontario we're allowed bubbles of 10 and gatherings of, I think it's gatherings of 50. I think it's gotten bigger. Like you can do gatherings of 100 in most of the province, and here it's still groups of 10. So like, yes, if my parents were in our social bubble, like yeah, I could go to the house, but we haven't gone that level yet. All you can eat sushi, I miss it so much. Oh dude, oh, that's gonna be a bad one. that's gonna be a bad one where, again, the logistics of that don't really work out. Though you can still order sushi. It's not like the only thing you can do. So much. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what are the things that are just different. Like once we get, I don't know, back to, I don't even know if it's normalcy. Like I don't know if we're ever going back to whatever normal was before this whole thing hit, but like what's changing and what's just dead, like what's just not acceptable anymore. Like, are we actually at a point where the handshake as a gesture is just dead? Are we just not doing that anymore? Are we doing like the nod or the bow, the elbow thing? You've resorted to eating grocery store sushi. Oh no, I don't eat sushi, so I can't say how good or bad grocery store sushi is. Oh no, that's a bad one. I don't know if I'm going to eat uncooked food from restaurants for a while. Yeah, I don't eat... Yeah, that can be a concern. I don't know how much the uncooked factor matters, but I guess there's the context of like, if someone was not well and they were preparing your food and then they put it in fire, presumably it would be okay. But if it wasn't, then that extra level of protection is just gone. So there is that as well. And certain experiences like arcades were starting to come back, sort of, kind of. When you think of places like Palladium and Rec Room, Cineplex, movie theaters. Oh man, this was the year. Like Steph at work got Cineplex as one of her clients, and she got like the black card, the Cineplex black card. And if you have one of these, you get 2 free movie tickets every day for a year. This was going to be the year that we go and watch every single movie. We saw Cats, we saw Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think that's it. And we're probably not going to the theater for the rest of the year. If I don't know if I could say ever again, but definitely not anytime soon. We've definitely ordered popcorn though from Cineplex. You can get it Uber Eats to your house, and that's been great. We'll just like watch movies here or rent movies from the Cineplex store. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. The grocery store sushi, or the unlimited movies for a year in the middle of a pandemic, right? And even when they open up again, like I don't want to sit in the theater with even dozens of other people, even if we're spaced like in that space. People like I don't want to wear a mask in the theater. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And yeah, this is the one year she got the card. And BRB, okay. I think things will go back to normal once there's a viable vaccine. I hope so, Athena. But it's also like thinking through that process of like, yeah, there's a viable vaccine, and then everybody's got to take it. Everyone's got to take it. And in an era of misinformation and anti-vaxxers and stuff, it may take longer than we would like for that to happen. Uh-oh. Internet has died. Oh, there we go. Raging back there. Sorry about that. And or enough people die that herd immunity becomes a thing. I've heard some things that like herd immunity might not actually be achievable. I've heard something about like just the way that it mutates and stuff, that immunity just lasts for like it could only last for a couple of weeks, and then like I don't want to spread any misinformation here. But I've read some stuff about like herd immunity may not actually be possible with this thing. Spanish flu burned itself out. This will too. Okay. I hope you're right. Fake Ghost Pirate Robot MD. DH. Drive-ins are back, however, they aren't any local ones, at least for you. Yeah, there isn't one around here. I think we'd have to drive like half an hour away to get to a drive-in. And I guess, yeah, we could do that, but also, like, there's no new movies out. I guess we could go and watch the classics, but I don't know. I've only done the drive-in once. What did we watch at the drive-in? I think it was Avengers. I think it was the first Avengers we saw at the drive-in. And yeah, the drive-in's okay as an experience to sit in the car and just watch. You have to start the car like every 15 minutes or so just so your battery doesn't die. It's okay. Not the most ideal way to watch a movie, but hey, if you want to watch a movie on a big screen and if you've never done the drive-in before, now's a great time to do it. It has low antibody response, but that's not enough. Yeah. Okay. Spanish flu burned itself after killing like 500 million people. Oh, that's a lot of people. I don't want to see any more. I don't want to see any more. But yeah, with the way things are now, there will be more, and I hope that your family's safe, or your friends are safe, and that we all get through this together. But I don't think anyone in my immediate circle has had it, but I know people who've known people that have had it. And I think the scary thing for me is that I know for certain I was exposed to it at least once. I guess we could talk about that now, because as far as I think we're past the statute of limitations at this point. I got an... Oh man, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about how this happened. I got notification that I happened to be in a place where someone had it, and I didn't find out about it until like a month after it happened. Bubonic plague burned out after 25 million people. Both of those cases, it was 1/3 of the population. Yikes. I know one person that has recovered and one person that is currently battling. Oh man. Well, yeah, prayers to that particular person. I hope they get through stronger and better than ever. I definitely know people who've been impacted by it. But yeah, all these numbers you guys are throwing out here, I don't like any of them. Yeah, it's kind of crazy just when you look at it in those terms, and even just like the numbers in the US of like 100, what are we at now? 140,000? And this is like one of the biggest catastrophes we'll ever be in our life, and it's almost like we're numb to these numbers. Like how is it that it's just it's another day, more thousands of people that maybe didn't have to go or are gone now, like sorry, only 50 million deaths. Only. Yeah. I'm still scared by the whole idea of it, and the fact that I have asthma, and I, generally speaking, have historically a poor immune system. I don't deal with illness well. I've gotten pneumonia multiple times, and I would be concerned for what would happen to me if I had to battle that thing. So yeah, we chill in the house. Steph and I are in here a lot, and that can have a tough toll on our mental health. Definitely don't get as much exercise as maybe we would. Get a little cabin fever. I think Steph more than me, but I do feel it sometimes too. Yeah, we have I've officially booked some vacation time in August, and we're trying to figure out like what does that even look like. I don't feel, maybe I'll feel more comfortable in August, but right now I don't feel comfortable staying overnight at a place that isn't our house, whether that's a hotel or an Airbnb. And so I know that limits our options a lot. I think Steph is more comfortable with that. I'm not, and kind of the meet in the middle is like we can do day trips, and so we'll see what that ends up looking like. I'm not trying to minimize the seriousness of COVID, but I do think eventually we can get past it, and I hope so. I hope so. I don't want to live in a world where we're all like scared for our lives, and I don't know, maybe we're still wearing masks. Maybe that just becomes the normal thing. I have tons of masks now. I have like a dozen masks, and I think 5 Toronto Raptor masks alone. So like maybe I would just wear it just to rep the team. But yeah, I at some point I think humanity will get through, and I hope to be on the other side of that. Okay, now we're getting into like really morbid territory here. Hold on. I'm not scared. In fact, I want to be immune. However, I don't want to be the jerk that spreads it to my parents and other people. However, that does not mean I want someone with COVID coughing at my face. Yep. Totally understand. I don't want to go out of my way to get the thing. Hearing the stories about like COVID parties and stuff in the States and other places, and knowing at least one person's actually died attending one of those things, like, oh man, unforced errors here. Your life is worth more than that. It really is. Yeah, I think, yeah, if we work together, we can get through it, but we gotta work together. And yeah, the parents of older age definitely at a greater risk. People who are immunocompromised definitely at greater risk. One way or the other. Yep. I hope that we get through the cool way versus the not as good. All right. This is going to get into weird territory here. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm going for it. It has come to my attention in recent months that there is at least one company who sells digital tombstones. And so the idea, it's basically like on your tombstone you get the equivalent of an iPad. It's a digital screen. You can show whatever pictures you want there. Presumably you could get some video too. And I've thought about it, like what does my thing look like? And not to say like I have any thoughts or plan on piecing out of this world anytime soon. No. Who would have thought wearing a mask is such a big deal? I know. Now it's like it's everything. Please wear one. And just thinking of the idea of like, you know what? At some point in my lifetime, the digital tombstone is probably going to be a thing, because I just think the idea of like, here, when you go to a cemetery or what have you, it's here's the person's name and, you know, birthday, death date. And I think there's so much more to a person than that, especially now where like, yeah, photos and other sorts of memories and stuff. And if we have the means to like throw that on a digital screen that can withstand the weather, like, yeah, that would be a cool way to be able to like show this is that person's life, and here's some pictures, here's a little bit of a blurb about them. And I've thought about like what's on there. Like, do I start picking pictures? Oh, I probably don't start picking pictures now, but I have like tons of pictures. And like the stream stuff, like at some point there's like there will be thousands of hours of videos. What moments of the stream are we gonna put on there? Is it just like a running like playlist of streams just going for years and years? I don't know. Who would it... That's kind of weirded me out too, like the idea of like I have so much footage of me here in this space, like at some point, if when Steph and I have kids, that like they can come back and watch all this stuff. And what will they think of me in this space, in this time? I don't know what that means yet. And then meanwhile, like, their entire life will probably be caught digitally in pictures and uploaded on Instagram and all that stuff. World's weird, man. Now, not even death can free you from social media. Yeah. And like the idea of like people's pages in social media becoming tributes to them, and people say their messages and maybe they don't get deactivated, or people like embracing that on a digital tombstone at some point. It's weird, man. I'm not sure a digital tombstone is for me, but if that's for you, then go for it. I think I would do it. I don't know what I would put on it, but I think I would do it. I like the idea of like someone looking at that thing and being able to know there's that guy, he looked like this, here's a little bit about his life. I don't necessarily think they need to see all the stream highlights. Like, what the does someone visiting the cemetery really need to see like the supercut of me chatting with Haley over the phone? Probably not. Do they need to see my sick headshots in Overwatch? Probably not. It's weird though. The possibilities, they're gonna have like Wi-Fi on those things too. Someone in your family could update those. Well, with what though? I don't know. When I die, I want my organs harvested, the rest used for a cadaver, and then fed to some wolves once my usefulness is expired. Wow, that's very specific. And sure, that if you would like to be fed by wolves, you do you, my dude. Why should my corpse get to own a piece of the earth forever? That is a fair point and an interesting point of discussion. And I've definitely heard of people choosing, well, not necessarily choosing to get eaten by wolves, but I'm an organ donor as well. I'd like a green burial, to be honest. That's very noble of you as well, Athena. My grandfather was an organ donor, and when he passed, he was an organ donor as well, and his eyes were helped someone else see. So that's awesome. I have not made that choice yet of like, am I willing to be an organ donor? But I guess at a certain point, I guess the discussion is really like, at a certain point, I'm not gonna need these organs anyway, and so what does it matter? Yeah, it's weird. You are too, man. All the organ donors here. I have not made that choice. I've definitely held the card. I've gotten it a couple of times, like, oh, do I want to do this? Yes or no. I don't know if I'm ready to make that choice just yet. And I don't know. Maybe I think I'm somewhere in my head, I'm holding out hope that we find the thing that extends our lives by like hundreds of years, or like we get the thing where we can upload ourselves to a robot and we can continue existing in some other form. But I guess at that point, like, then who needs the organs? I don't know. Then forgot about it and tried to sign it. Janice says, I don't need to be embalmed, just put me in a wooden box. Yeah, when I was 17, my dad died. Oh, sorry to hear that. And I decided that if I could save someone's family member, I'd take the opportunity. No embalming for me. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that scenario looks like for me. I hope I don't have to. I hope my family and friends don't have to deal with that anytime soon. But I don't know if I would prefer the... I think traditionally I've thought about like just put me in a coffin, keep whatever of my body is left intact and put me in the ground. But yes, there are absolutely cases for not doing that, for taking up space or what have you. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I remember my grade 3 teacher I'll always remember this because she was one of my favorite teachers. Mrs. Nealons. I don't know if I was supposed to say that name. She's long past, but I remember in elementary school her saying that when I die, I want to have my ashes just like spread across my farm. And then about a decade later, yeah, she passed, and I'm gonna guess that's what happened. And I never even thought of the idea of like, wait, what? I thought you would, when you die, you're like in an urn or you're in a casket and that's it. But the idea of like, what? You would want to spread yourself across the earth, and then there's just like, there's no thing to say like this is where you are. Like, I don't know. That's still a concept I'm wrestling with. I also don't particularly care what happens to my body. Funeral services are stupid expensive. Although I like the areas that make organ donation and opt out rather than opt in. Yeah, some have been moving more into that space. I think the thing about death that I'm wrestling with, as far as the like, do I want to do the urn thing? Do I do the casket thing? Do I have a space on this earth? It's the idea, and like maybe it's also like the whole digital screen thing. I think the idea of like, when I go, is there a place for the people who care about me to go and commemorate me, and know that like Jet is here, like whether I am dust or my body has just like rotted, but like this is Jet's place, and we can come here and mourn him, or what have you. I don't know the answer to that. Do I have a will? Not yet. Not yet. The memorial part's important. Yeah, that's the part for me that I'm wrestling with. And yeah, that reminds me, I should go visit Grandpa. I haven't gone to his burial site in a while. How did we get here? Last I heard, you were talking about sushi. I know. We were still talking. I think we were talking about. Yeah, we were still talking about like pandemic stuff, but then also the number of people who have died in past plagues and how the virus will burn itself out. And then we just got onto this bigger subject of death, which I guess when I stream for hundreds of hours, it's going to come up eventually, right? Eventually we're gonna get here. From 2020 strikes again, as it does. Yeah, it's an interesting, like, I don't know, that idea of like memorializing people. And when my grandfather passed, I got like all the pictures that he had, and oh man, I'm trying to remember it. I could at least share this to Randy. And a couple of months before my grandfather passed, he was not well. He spent a lot of time in the hospital. Steph and I went, and this was like the last time I really got to speak to him. And he shared a lot with me in that conversation. Like normally, like growing up, he lived with us, and our conversations were mostly like, hey Jet, do you want snacks? Or he'd be poking fun at me like, do you have a girlfriend yet? So on and so forth. But yeah, the last time I saw him was like the first time I had like an adult conversation with him, and he was reflecting on his life and some of the moments that shaped who he was and things he was grateful for. He was like pretty religious, and he shared the story of like he was a kid in the Philippines and he got stranded out in the middle of like a flood, and he ended up like running up on the roof of some house, and he just stayed up there until the flood subsided. And he was like, yeah, had I not got there, I probably just would have died there. But someone was looking out for me that day, and I appreciated that. I wish I could remember more of what he said that day, but I just like remember like, oh, this is kind of cool to be able to talk to him like this, because we hadn't really. It was the do you have a girlfriend jokes, and then we would talk about baseball. And yeah, the whole memorializing thing, and just seeing like when I was in charge of putting together like a memorial video for him. And it's interesting just with like the technology and stuff of like, he had like a handful of black and white photos, but like photography wasn't really a thing back then. So like most of the stuff I had of his life was from like age 40 and beyond. And it's like, it's this like the memories of his life are just like this part, this like this back half, and everything from before is like gotten lost. I mean, like, I guess my mom and uncles would have more of that stuff, but like it's just like gone. Well, not all of it gone, but yeah, there's not as much like physical or digital things of like, yeah, there he is. That's weird, man. I think the one, I'm gonna get like super real here. One that really bugs me, and I know I have to keep telling myself that it's like, it's not my fault, and there probably wasn't anything I could do. I had a friend, he was a close friend of mine, who I don't know if I want to talk about this here. I don't know, maybe if it helps other people. It was a friend from like middle school and high school, and we, like, one of my best friends during that time. And he, like, after high school, we kind of went our separate ways. We went to schools in different places, and our life went in very different places. He got mixed up in the wrong crowds, had some problems with substance abuse, and just kind of bounced around for a while. And yeah, a couple of years ago, he chose to not be on this earth anymore. And like, I know it's, I don't know, like, I didn't know all of the things that were happening at the time. We're all gonna I didn't know all the things that were happening. Like, from my perspective, it was just like, hey, high school happened, I hope you're doing well. And like, he wasn't really posting online or anything. I was busy going on my way. And then I think maybe, yeah, it had been like years since we'd messaged each other. I would hear through the grapevine, through friends and through other friends, that, hey, he wasn't doing so great. And then, yeah, then just got the news that like, he's gone. And I don't know, like, I know, like, I kind of wish that I was maybe more involved. Like, I didn't know like how bad it was, or if there was maybe there wasn't anything I could do. But yeah, I think that still bothers me to this day, that like, I don't know, was there anything I could have done? Maybe I should have reached out. But yeah, I just didn't know it was that rough for him. But yeah, I did reach out to his mom, and like, I had a bunch of stuff of his that his mom like hadn't seen before. I had a whole bunch of pictures. I had at least one song. We used to record music together, and there was a song that she hadn't heard before, and I gave that to her, and there were some other things I had that I mailed to her, so she at least have that to like commemorate them. Yeah, it's hard. The world can be a very depressing place, even the whole COVID situation. Oh man, it's been the most depressing situation. And just the toll that it has on mental health. And like I imagine for you, Janice, because you like your living situation, that it would be like hard for you too. Mental health is hard to grapple with for everyone. Society is getting better. We have a long way to go. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, he definitely had his like mental health struggles, and we weren't even really using the term mental health until just before it was too late for him. And yeah, I don't really know how or what to say here, but I guess for anybody else who's going through some stuff, like I'm not a trained mental health professional or anything, but like talk to someone, anyone. Definitely reach out for help from a professional if you can. I know there's free phone numbers all around the world for different services you can call, but even just talking to your friends, family helps as well. At least like don't bottle it up. That's a bad thing to do. Don't do that. Can I? Oh man, no, I can't play that song. It uses copyrighted music. It is on my SoundCloud though. How about that? I will. Okay, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. Shout outs to you, my dude. And if you want to listen to it, here he is, kicking it. Rest well. Yeah, he loved the rap, among other things. And then there's other people, like there's another person in my group, like as far as I know, he's still alive, but like I've completely lost touch with him. Like he grew up in a like a very strict religious family, and he late in high school started doing some things that his parents, that I generally society would find okay, but in his world wasn't okay, and he kind of just fell off the grid, and I haven't been able to find him on like social media or anything since, and I miss him. He was another one of my best friends, and he hung out with this other person as well, and I don't know if this person knows that this other person isn't here anymore, and I have no way of like reaching out. And I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, they're just kind of like this gone. I still check from time to time. I Google their name and search on social media platforms to see if I can find them, but no luck so far. I don't know. I guess where I'm ultimately trying to get to is that the people you care about, make sure you let them know that you care, that you love them, that you reach out and help however you can, because this life is not forever, and you don't want to hold on to anything in a worst case scenario. or something. I don't know if that was a deeply profound thing or what have you, but here we are. Before we wrap up here, anything you guys want to say? I guess, well, one, thank you, much love to everybody here, Randy, Janice, Fakos Pyro Robot, Athena, much love to all you guys. I care about you all a lot. Family, friends, internet friends, it's all love. It's all love. Athena, I enjoy your streams. I enjoy the music that you perform on there. Fakos Pyro Robot, thank you so much for your help and being an awesome friend, helping to build this computer and putting up with all of my messages. Thank you, Janice, for being an awesome cousin from pretty much since the beginning. You're older. You've known me like literally as long as I've known you, as long as I've been alive. And Randy, you've been an amazing brother, even if you punched me in the face that one time. But I'm not holding that against you or anything. I'm teasing. All right, we'll be back on Sunday. Randy will be here. Fakos Pyro. No, Randy will be here. Des will be here at Switch to Decaf. We're gonna be playing some Overwatch together. I'll punch it again if you deserve it, as you should. I will say that if I deserve a punch in the face, you punch me in the face. I was actually a streamer. There is a streamer who has a channel point reward that is punch me in the face, and when you cash in the points, like a fist goes at his face. And a lot of people cash that in. He doesn't react to it that often. Most of the time he just continues talking. He's got like the toughest chin on the internet. But that is a thing that he does offer on his channel. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the Stardew. I hope there was value in the extended conversation about pandemic and mental health and death. But if you ever feel like you need to chat with someone or